So we've talked a lot about drug shortages, about some of these hot button items that are affecting all of you guys in your compounding pharmacies. One of the questions that you've asked me to present on here today is, what kind of tools do I utilize, or does my department utilize, our consultants utilize, when we're answering some of these questions, when we're determining what kind of opportunities are there, what's the magnitude of those opportunities? And I'd like to show you one of the tools that I find very useful that hopefully you can take back to your pharmacies and make your operations more productive. That tool is called clinical pharmacology. I started using clinical pharmacology when I was a student, and it's a tool that most students have access to. For my department and for our purposes, we've actually tried out all of the different ones that we've seen out there, and we find this one to be the most comprehensive and user-friendly. That's why we chose it. I don't want to make it seem like they are endorsing me or paying me for any of this stuff. This is just what I use, and I wanted to show you how I use it and why I use it. So clinical pharmacology is a website, and I'm actually going to go through some of the motions to show you what exactly I get from it. So let's start from the beginning. When a drug shortage gets posted to either the ASHP website or the FDA's website, or some of you guys call in and tell us about a product that's unavailable, I need to do the research to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row to see what is that opportunity. One of the key parts is finding out, is that manufacturer or those few manufacturers that have been listed as having unavailable product, are they the only ones who have product, who make that product and that's still on the market? So I'll go into clinical pharmacology and I'll type in the name of that drug product. So for example, testosterone cypionate is one that's in the news right now. So if I type that into the search field, I'm going to click on the monograph, and then I can actually come over here to this House Applied link, and when I click on there, it's going to load up a page that shows me all of the drug products that have that active ingredient listed. And what I like to do is come in here and just hide the off-market products, stuff that may have been around years ago, and the manufacturers just ceased making it. And what I can do is go through here and see all the different manufacturers. I can pull up a picture of the products if I need to, and that's often very helpful. Go through here and see all the different manufacturers for that injection in oil of testosterone cypionate. And you can see that it's got the different ester forms of testosterone also listed. So the enanthate, the propionate, etc. And I can see who makes it. And when I look at the posting that says testosterone cypionate is unavailable, they also tell me which manufacturers, which strengths, and what the problem, the perceived problem is. One thing that's important to note is that in this case, everything that they noted as far as being short were from Sandoz and Teva and Watson. However, they'd never addressed the Pfizer product. And as you can see here, Pfizer's the first one who brought this out on the market. It is the brand name product. It is not affected by this shortage. That drug is still available. So what that tells me is that it's not a true shortage. The generics may not be available, but there is drug product from the manufactured form that's available. That's not something that you need to be compounding. Another thing that's really cool about it is, let's say that that product is off the market and none of those manufactured products are available. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to take a look at what was in that product. So when I clicked on this first product that is the Pfizer product, you can see that it's a Schedule III drug, prescription only. It gives you some storage instructions. So when we compound it, we need to make sure that we're following similar rules as far as protecting the compound from light. And right here, it tells us what is this compound, what is this finished compound supposed to look like, and what are the ingredients. This one happens to be a nice, simple formula, but that is very key to telling us that, you know what, our formula that's in our database is identical to what they're using. So we can be confident as far as the patient outcome should be similar to what they experienced with the commercial product. Obviously, we're not following the exact same procedures. We're not a big manufacturing company. We don't know exactly what steps they're taking. So we don't extrapolate all the data, but this gives us a degree of confidence in what we're doing. So these are all very important things. And a key part that I utilize this for is, after I've compared it to our formula, then I look at all of the components of our formula and I check with our operations folks to make sure that we've got all of the inventory requirements for each of these different ingredients. Not just the active drug, but all of the excipients, the inactive drugs. So the benzyl alcohol, do we have adequate inventory? And if this drug shortage really takes off, it's something that's really affecting our members in a big way, and we sell through a lot of product faster than anticipated, how much time do we need to get more inventory in? So those are things that we look at before we go out and notify all of you PCCA members about that compounding opportunity due to the drug shortage. So we try and be very proactive and take care of all of that behind the scenes work before we get it out there. Because if we're just regurgitating the stuff that's on the ASHP or the FDA's websites, we're not really doing a service to you guys. So we're identifying what can be compounded, and that's a professional judgment call that I make, and then we figure out all of those other pieces, including the other places that it's available. Now, one other really cool thing that I like about clinical pharmacology, and it's not directly related to drug shortages, is they sometimes have formulations for extemporaneous compounding. And I'll show you an example. If I go in here and I type in rifampin, and you've got a patient who needs combo therapy for TB, and they need it in a liquid form. The rifampin part, you'd be hard-pressed to find a good formula for that in a lot of different resources, but there is a formula here in clinical pharmacology, and it's really nice and convenient the way that it's listed. I typed in rifampin, I clicked for the monograph. Now, I'm going to click over on the administration tab, and if I scroll down here, it gives me a formula for an extemporaneous compounding oral suspension. It tells me the strength of the suspension, so 10 mg per ml. It tells me how to make it, and it even gives me the references. Now, if you click on these references, you'll get a little embedded window with the reference. And on some of these, it even has a link to PubMed. And if you click on that, it'll open up a new browser window that takes you straight to that abstract within PubMed. So when you have a state board inspector or a PCAB inspector coming in that wants to see where you establishing this formula, establishing the beyond use states for this formula, this makes it very convenient. Now, it's not something that's available for everything, but when it is available, it's very convenient. So those are a couple of the ways that I use clinical pharmacology, and I use it for a wide breadth of information. I use it a heck of a lot. It's one of my primary shortcuts, but that's just me. And I don't want this presentation to be focused on using the tool, but rather to show you guys that there are these tools available, and they're not real expensive. So you can just go to their website and sign up for a free trial and play around with it for a couple weeks, see if it's the right tool for you.
PCCA, helping you compound with confidence.